Reviewing my favorite crochet books, part 5. This is Modern Crochet, and this is probably one of my favorite coffee table crochet books because it is so beautiful. The projects are beautiful, the photography is beautiful, the instructions are super clear. It has an amazing fundamental section with ways to use your stitches, different types of yarn to use, hooks to use, and really great instructions. Also, just look at these projects. Do you not want these in your home? Because I want all of them. Overall, this is one of my all-time favorite books. A swimming 5 out of 5 stars. One of my faves. Reviewing my favorite crochet books, part 6. This book is one of my all-time favorites. It's called Crochet with London K, and if I had anything close to a crochet idol, it would be London K. She is incredible, an amazing yarn bomber and activist, and she has some pretty incredible stuff. She has examples of how to yarn bomb, all of the examples of her projects in the book, also, a school bus, and then this was an ad she did for Miller Lite, which is so crazy. It's a billboard. My favorite piece that she's ever done are these water spouts with crochet water. They're just so cool. Also, she teaches you how to crochet onto Converse shoes and then an entire alphabet. So if you saw my video a couple days back, those are the letters I used. She has tips and tricks on how to use different hook sizes to make the effect. And it is one of my all-time favorite books. I give this one a 5 out of 5 stars, 2 thumbs up. Love London K.
Okay, you guys are not going to believe this, but today we are not freehanding and we are not using one of my own patterns. I'm actually using a pattern that I bought from my girl Daniela. I don't really know Daniela, but I saw her beach bag pop up on my For You page twice and I was like, I just need to have this bag. So today that's what we're working on and we're gonna see how well it goes. I already biffed this pattern. I'm supposed to be using a lighter yarn than this. Is like double the weight of the yarn I'm supposed to be using, but we're gonna go with it. Yeah, I did not plan properly for this. She also uses a 2mm hook. I don't have a 2mm hook. It's okay, we'll figure it out. So I decided to go with the 3.5mm hook just because it better suits my yarn. She used a 2mm hook, but this is how we're looking so far. This is the base of the bag. And she does use a lot of stitch markers. Right now I have 4 in my project. I think she might have more, but what I will say is I'm pretty sure the stitch markers are there just to make the project like really beginner friendly. Just finished the base. This is what it's looking like, and then now we're onto the mesh part. I like that it's worked in the round and I don't have to do any turning chains because this is what the back side looks like. It's not as smooth, but I also feel like it could be reversible, which would be awesome. Here is where we're at with the bag. We're working on the sides, which are the mesh. And even though I used a 3.5 instead of a 2mm hook like she did, it is actually a great size and I'm really excited about this. Okay, I am about halfway up the mesh and I do have one complaint about the pattern so far. I do not like how it starts drooping once it gets towards the edge. It's on both sides. I did check the pattern to see if hers was doing the same or if I messed up anywhere, and I didn't. Other than that, I think this is super cute and I am excited. So I did frog a lot of the work. I feel like you can tell with how the colors are different now. I did that because I messed up on the mesh. But while I was down there, I also added a few more rows of like regular half double crochet to stop it from drooping so much. But now we're moving on to the part that I'm most nervous about. I'm gonna do the handles now, which is a bit scary for me because I've never done anything like this, especially with mesh. So we'll see how it goes. Almost done with one of the handles and it's really cute. I'm thinking of doing the pink and yellow on the other side for the other handle since the blues are just taking up so much. I will say though is I really don't like decreasing with mesh because it gives this funky look to it. I'm hoping it gets better when I block it. Okay, so I finished the bag. She did have us go over the like mesh handles to give it a cleaner look. I do still need to weave in my ends, but it looks really good. Overall, I did really love this pattern. I was really worried that it'd be too challenging for me, but it was actually really easy. And I really love that she added all the pictures and the stitch markers to make it very beginner friendly.
Easy, you can tease me. All I need is that you see me. Do my nails, cut my hair. I'm a brand new bitch. Got my
I made a huge mistake buying these, but it's not for the reason that you're probably thinking. So if you guys don't know what these are the Prim ergonomic hooks, and they are super popular in the crochet world, okay? I mean, and I can see why. Like, it has a great grip, like super lightweight, long handle at the top, like what's not to love, right? And let's not forget, like, the packaging, it's so cute. But there's an issue. This is an inline crochet hook, and this is a tapered crochet hook, and I don't know if you can really tell the difference, but inline hooks are straight up and down. They usually have a pointed or a more pointed edge than something like the tapered. That's usually shorter, usually metal, and kind of has a rounder spout at the top, and that makes for, you know, making it easier to glide in and out, but maybe making it a bit harder for tighter stitches. And so, I mean, that's that. Maybe it's just preference, right? But there's an issue. So I totally forgot that I use a knife grip. So if you don't know, there's a few different ways to crochet. There is the knife grip, something like this, where, you know, you're using your thumb and your pointer finger, and you're going in and out, and you're kind of going from upwards. And then there's something like the pencil grip, like this, that's pointing up and down, and you're just weaving in and out like this. So there's different ways to do it, but I found that because I do the knife grip, this is just way too long for my fingers to kind of grab onto the project. And yeah, also because this tip at the end is so much more sharper, if you're going to be working with something like acrylic yarn like this, for example, and you're going in and out of the stitches and your hook is not big enough, you're going to be splitting the yarn, especially with something like this sharp and pointy. It's just going to go and kind of split the yarn and make it more difficult for you. So I don't know if this is just me not liking inline hooks or not liking the sharpness of this, but basically these are not for me. They're not for the way I hold my yarn. They're not the right size that I like, but I mean, the quality is great. And maybe if any of you guys love hooks like this or know that how you crochet works with these, I'd be happy to give them to you. So feel free to drop a comment and let me know, because I'd be happy to give these away. So yeah.
I am so excited about this book. You guys have no idea. I love making granny squares, and some of the designs in here are absolutely gorgeous. I mean, I would love to make some of these. There's also fruit ones too. This one might be my favorite. That or this one is. And there's also beginner-friendly ones in here too. So it's definitely a great book for beginner to advanced. I did get this book at Joann's, but I'm sure you could find it on Amazon too.
Let's see if it's worth the hype. My boyfriend got it for me as soon as I sent him that TikTok. So let's see what it looks like inside. I'll give it a cute little review at the end. I'll try to crochet something super quick. Okay, so here's what it looked like when I first opened it. I'm not sure what this is. I'm an intermediate crocheter, but never used any fancy tools, so please let me know what this is. It came with a measuring tape, a bunch of crochet hooks in a bunch of sizes, of course the electronic base, a charger, a non-electronic, base for the hooks, and then it even came with a little wrench to tighten the hooks when you put them on the thingy. So first impressions, I honestly love this little case. I think it would be so much more convenient than carrying like a bunch of hooks and stuff in like a pouch and having to look through it. Oh, and one more thing. If you look closely at the hooks, hopefully it'll focus, you can see like the millimeter count right there, which is super convenient and helpful for obvious reasons. Okay, so now I'm gonna see how it works, kind of like putting the hook on. So if you just put it on without the wrench, it is quite easy for it to come off, especially if you're using, tension and stuff with your yarn. But that's what the wrench is for. So I'm just gonna
twist it. I hope you guys saw that. It's pretty sturdy. And then look, you could turn on a light or put like a middle light, like a vibe, for the dark, which is super cute. I love that. So yeah, it seems to work. There's also like a button there for like stitch and row. So I'm assuming you would set that as you go. But yeah, I'm super excited. I obviously don't store my yarn very well. If anyone has any tips, please send them my way. I don't know why I was under the impression that this would count stitches for me. You have to click the button each time you do a stitch. But either way, I'm gonna crochet a kitty cat beanie and I'll give it a little review. So right off the bat, I'm kind of forgetting to click the stitch button. It's honestly a little time consuming because I like to hold my hook way up. So like having to consciously click stitch is really annoying. The grip is a little uncomfortable. It's like plastic, but I'm gonna continue. Okay, I made this without a pattern, so sorry, but 6 out of 10.
Say, you run it on the road, so get out the way, push the pedal to the floor, going all the way, yeah, you see I'm getting close, I accelerate, going faster than fast, hit the gas, lose control, I won't crash, run.
Here is everything that I have crocheted / worked on / maybe finished in the month of November. For the record, I think I'm gonna cover them all. But actually, no, that's a lie. I don't think I'm going to cover them all because I feel like I'm going to forget some. Coming in hot, we have my Chucky sweater. This is the Dre jumper pattern, which I made into a Chucky sweater. And I know what you're thinking. Didn't you make that for Halloween? Yeah, I did. But if I'm being honest, I didn't finish till November 1st. But also, midway through, I did weave in every single end. Do you see all of these stripes? I weaved in every single end. And let me prove it to you. Alright, so here is the outside. And here it is flipped inside out. Yeah, that's right. You like that? I weaved in every end. Okay, up next we have this Christmas cardigan that I honestly wanted to finish by December, but I was going so hard on it, and then I realized that I ran out of yarn. So I got some more yarn for now, but I want it to be floor length, so I do need like a lot more yarn for this. But I have some, so I'm gonna go X Games mode on this soon because I really want to finish this very soon because I was really enjoying the process. Actually, that's right, me and Granny Squares enjoying them. Who am I? Next we have a blanket scarf that I've been working on. It's looking really good. I'm knitting this and I wanted it to be all this green color, but then I ran out of yarn and it was really sad, and it took me a while to get back to the yarn store, especially because for 1 week I had a quarantine because my partner had COVID. I was like sick, but I didn't get COVID. It was so crazy. So I went back and they didn't have that color anymore, so I'm making it two-toned, which is kind of sad because I just wanted one big blanket scarf in this color. But wow, this is a lot of work. Look at that. Yeah, but this is a project that I got so that I could practice knitting more, and as you can see, I'm getting really good. This one may be obvious for some of you, but I made a lot of pillow cozies. Some already sent out. If you ordered the first pre-order, it will come. It's coming out. I'm going to send them this week. Here's the personal one I made for myself. I made myself a new one in black. Look at the little tags on it, which the tags are taking me longer than I thought, but I need to add the tags so that it completes the final touch. Here is another Dre jumper that I made, but this time I made it with a little turtleneck and a little croppy crop. One of my testers, so I retested it this month, one of my testers did it in like a cream white color and I was inspired, so I made one for myself. I still want to block it and see how it comes out, but look at me making two Dre sweaters in 1 month, and I haven't made a single Dre sweater since I came out with it the first time last December when it was Dre's birthday. Okay. So this one I call my city project because I've only worked on it when I went to the city and was going on the trains. But this is the Adina cardigan, and I'm making it in blue, and I'm remaking it with Hobby Friends cotton instead of Hobby Rainbow cotton. So look at that. The colors and the Friends line are amazing. Oh, I'm running out of time. I started another blanket scarf when I ran out of yarn for the other one. And this was the last project I started, which is a top-down sweater with fancy yarn.
Welcome back to Yarn Reviews for Beginner Crocheters. Today we're going to be reviewing the Happy Chunky Fine Yarn by Go Handmade, which is available on Hobby. For composition, I'm scoring this a 1 because it is 100% polyester, so it's not the best fiber. For variety, I'm giving this a 3 because there are a decent amount of colors to choose from, but not too many, and a couple are even sold out. And finally, for ease of use, I'm giving this a 4 out of 5. While it is a specialty fiber, which typically I would advise beginner crocheters not to use, this yarn was actually pretty easy to work with. There were no fraying fibers, it wasn't getting stuck to the hook, and overall I found it worked up just as nicely as any other beginner-friendly yarn that I've used in the past. The only reason it's not getting a 5 is because I did have to use a 6mm hook for this one, and a beginner crocheter really should be practicing with somewhere around a 4.5 or a 5mm hook. So let's review the score. With a 1 out of 5 for composition, a 3 out of 5 for variety, and a 4 out of 5 for ease of use, Go Handmade's Happy Chunky Fine Yarn received an 8 out of a possible 15 points, making this an okay choice for beginners to crochet with. Welcome back to Yarn Reviews for Beginner Crocheters. Today we're reviewing Hobby's Mohair Delight yarn. Starting off with materials, this is an Okotex certified 50% acrylic, 50% mohair yarn, making it a really high quality fiber, so we're giving this a 4 out of 5. Next, on color variety, for a specialty yarn, there are actually quite a few colors to choose from. We see at least one shade in every color of the rainbow, and not a lot are sold out, so we're going to give this a 5 out of 5. And finally, for ease of use, this yarn, as far as specialty yarns go, was very easy to work with. Normally, when you hear that a yarn is made of mohair, you think that it's going to catch on your hook, be very thin and difficult to use, but because the Mohair Delight yarn was made also with 50% acrylic, it definitely helped the composition and made it a lot smoother on the hook. I will say though, for a beginner, this still might be a little bit tricky, so we're going to give this a 3.5 out of 5. So now let's check the score. With a 4 out of 5 for materials, a 5 out of 5 for color variety, and a 3.5 out of 5 for ease of use, the Mohair Delight yarn by Hobby earned a 12.5 out of 15, making this a solid choice of a specialty yarn for beginner crocheters to try out. Welcome back to Yarn Reviews for Beginner Crocheters. Today we're reviewing the Big Twist Value yarn. Starting off with materials, this is a 100% acrylic yarn, but as the name suggests, this really is a great value yarn since you're getting 380 yards. This is also a great option for beginners since it's a weight 4 yarn and its suggested hook size is a 5mm hook. All that being said, for materials, this gets a 3.5 out of 5. Next, on color variety, we see a great price point for this yarn, and we've got plenty of colors and styles to choose from here. I might even go as far as to say this is the most colors I've ever seen from a single yarn brand. So of course we're giving this a 5 out of 5. And finally, for ease of use, I really didn't have a ton of trouble working with this yarn. You can honestly get a lot of different things from a 100% acrylic yarn. So as far as this yarn goes in particular, it wasn't too bad, but it wasn't the perfect yarn either. Let's call this a 3 out of 5. So now let's check the score. With a 3.5 out of 5 for materials, a 5 out of 5 for color variety, and a 3 out of 5 for ease of use, the Big Twist Value yarn earned an 11.5 out of 15. So if you're a beginner who's looking for a good yarn to practice with, you really can't go wrong with this one. It's definitely a solid choice at an easy price point.
Reviewing my favorite crochet books, part 4. This is the 3D Granny Square Book of Crochet Squares. And as you can see, there are 100 squares and they all have a 3D motif and they are so adorable and fairly simple. I really fell in love with this book because they had a lot of great sections. First of all, the skills shows you all of the different stitches and techniques you might need in order to create these squares. But then they divide the book up into sections, and all of the different sections indicate what they're going to have, such as food and drink, fruits and vegetables, animal magic, not to be confused with magic animals, wild beasts, under the sea, and so on and so forth. Here's all the rest of them if you want to take a look. This book is really great because you can create squares that are all actually the same size so that you can create a blanket or a bag, and everything should match up when your stitches are all said and done. So overall, I give this book 5 out of 5 stars. Really amazing. Highly recommend. Go check it out.